I told you that the personality you think is you isn't actually you at all? It's just the personality you built to fit into the world you were raised in. And yet, here we are, grown as hell, still walking around saying, I'm naturally shy, I'm a people pleaser, I'm not good with conflict. But girl, what if that's not your personality? What if it's programming, the survival strategy you learned when you were 7? And now you're out here at 40-something, still running childhood software, calling it your personality. Let's talk about it. What's up, it's your girl Keisha B, a recovering people pleaser who spent years calling avoidance a personality trait. And today we're talking about something most folks never question. The idea that your personality, the way you describe yourself, justify yourself, limit yourself, might actually be a set of protective behaviors you learn to stay safe. Now here's why that matters. If it's protection, not personality, then you're not stuck. You're adaptable. And once you realize that, everything changes. All right, so here's how this usually plays out. Somebody asks you to do something outside your comfort zone. Speak up in a meeting, set a boundary, say no, try something different. And instantly your brain goes, oh no, boo-boo, I can't. That's just not me. Like it's printed on your birth certificate or coded in your DNA or something. And I'm not saying those things you think are your personality aren't true for you right now. But here's the question nobody ever asked. When did you decide that? Were you born apologizing? Did you pop out the womb ready to accommodate everyone? Did the doctor look at you like, yep, this one's naturally a perfectionist? Or, hear me out, did you learn somewhere along the way that being quiet, agreeable, low maintenance, or the chill one kept you safe? That got you love, approval, acceptance? Because here's what I realized. Most of what we call personality is just old strategies we practiced so long, we forgot they were strategies. They became habits, and habits became identity. We didn't choose them. We adapted to survive something. So let's break down what's actually going on here. When you're a kid, your number one job isn't to be authentic, like we say now as adults. It's to stay safe, emotionally safe, belonging safe. Please don't withdraw love from me, safe. So your brain starts running experiments. When I'm loud, people snap at me. Okay, I'll be quieter. When I ask for things, people get annoyed. Okay, I'll stop asking. When I have big emotions, people say I'm too much. Got it. I'll suck it up and keep my feelings buried. And those experiments, they worked. They kept you protected. So your brain goes, cool. Lock that in. This is who I am now. And this is where it gets sneaky. A survival behavior practiced for years starts to feel like a personality trait. Not because it's who you are, but because it's who you had to be to keep life predictable. You didn't choose quiet. You chose safe. You didn't choose people pleaser. You chose don't lose love. You didn't choose emotionally independent. You chose don't get disappointed again. And here's the wild plot twist. The strategies that protected you at 7 are the same strategies suffocating you at 40, 50, and beyond. They're old software running on a life you no longer live. All right, so let me show you what this looks like in real life. Let's start with the classic. First up, I'm a perfectionist. I just like things done right. Perfectionism is rarely about high standards. It's usually a childhood where mistakes were punished or where love felt conditional on performance. So the brain learned perfect equals safe, perfect equals love, perfect equals don't disappoint anyone. And now they're burnt out, overwhelmed, and calling it personality. Number 2, I'm naturally independent. I don't need anybody. Sounds empowering until you hear the backstory. They asked for help a few times as a kid and nobody came. Or the people who were supposed to be dependable weren't. So their brain did what brains do. Cool, okay, got it. We don't need anyone ever again. And now they're adults who struggle to let people in. Not because they prefer independence, but because dependence once felt dangerous. And here's one more. I'm just not good with confrontation. That used to be me. People say that like it's a personality trait. But then you find out they grew up in a house where conflict meant yelling, tension, silent treatment, where expressing a need felt like lighting a fuse. Of course, confrontation is going to feel dangerous. Not because you're not built for it, but because your nervous system learned conflict equals chaos. Stay small, stay quiet, stay safe. Do you see the pattern? None of these behaviors started as identity. They started as protection. And because they worked, your brain kept them. They're familiar, and familiar doesn't equal true. Familiar just equals practiced. So here's the shift I want you to make. And if you take nothing else from this video, take this. The next time you hear yourself say, I can't do that, that's just who I am, I want you to pause and ask, is this really who I am? Or is this who I learned to be? Because boo-boo, you're not trapped inside the personality you built to get through childhood. You can outgrow the version of you that came from fear. You can choose differently now because you're not 7 anymore. And I'm not saying every survival strategy is useless. No, some of them still protect you. But some, they're just outdated code running in the background of a life you already outgrew. And you get to decide what stays and what goes. So now you're asking, okay, Keish, so what do I do about this? Glad you asked. Because awareness is cute and all, but it's not transformation. So step 1, pick one personality trait you swear is just who you are. Not all of them, just one. The one that feels the most baked in. Maybe it's I'm shy, I'm the helper, or I freeze during conflict, or I hate saying no. Step 2, ask yourself, when did I learn to be this way? Not when did I become this, when did I learn it? Was it a single moment, a pattern, a parent, a classroom, a relationship where your nervous system made a quiet decision about how to stay safe? Step 3, ask, does this still protect me, or is it just keeping me small? Now this part might sting a little, but that's how you know you're getting somewhere. And step 4, try one tiny act that breaks the pattern. Just one. If you're naturally quiet, speak up once this week. If you're a people pleaser, say no to something that doesn't matter. If you often avoid conflict, have a gentle, honest conversation you've been dodging. And you do this so you can meet the version of you that exists underneath all that armor. Because personality doesn't change in theory, it changes through practice. One small interruption at a time. Look, you're not broken. Your personality isn't wrong. But if you've been walking around for decades calling your childhood survival patterns your personality, you owe it to yourself to ask the question, who would I be if I felt completely safe? That person, she's not some fantasy self you have to earn. She's still in there, under the silence, the people-pleasing, the perfectionism, the overthinking. She's there, and she's been waiting for you to give her permission to exist. So drop a comment and tell me, what's one personality trait you think might actually be protection? Let's get real about this together. And if you want to practice shedding these old patterns with people who get it, come hang with me in my free community, The Escapers Lab. Links in the description below. And if you're ready to stop running childhood software and actually step into who you are, do all those boss YouTube things, like, share, and subscribe. Now, my fellow escaper, go be your own kind of different. Toodoo!